Yo guys, what's going on? How you doing today? Welcome to Midweek Online. We're excited to have you. We're excited that you joined in. We're excited that you took time out of your day, out of your week to join us. And we appreciate it. We hope you get something from today's message. And we got a little message for you. It's on community, some family values, things like that. It's amazing. Here at Lifepointe, here for Lifepointe Youth, we love community. We love hanging out. We love chilling, all that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy this Midweek Online. And
I loved running on my cross-country team. I had such a great time. It was actually my favorite team sport. I played football, I played basketball. Cross-country was actually my favorite sport that I was able to do. And I remember getting into it as a 5th or 6th grader, thinking how it was gonna be this individual thing. You know, everybody gets their own runner number and you have your final position of where you placed. But what I found as I ran cross country is it is far more of a team sport than what people might see from the outside. Cross country takes the first 5 runners and takes their total scores, their total placements, their times, where they were at in the race. And that's the way that a team can win a championship or qualify to go on to the next round of regionals or whatever. It's far much more of a team sport than what people might think. And I think that sometimes we adopt this same mentality in how we live our life. We think that we can do everything by ourselves because we're our own person and we're very individualistic in that way. But actually, we are better together. We are a community that needs to come together. It's something that God values. It's something that this church values. It's something that this youth ministry values. We value community, being able to set aside our own personal wants, needs, desires, ambitions, and saying, you know what does God want? What does he want for the community as a whole? I want to read out of Acts, and Acts chapter 2. What's really cool about Acts is it's basically the sequel to Luke. And so this takes place right after Peter has just preached to the masses. It's the first time after they've received the Holy Spirit that there's a clear gospel presentation, and 3,000 people get saved. But then it says in verse 42, right after that it says that they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship and to the breaking of bread and to prayer. And everyone was filled with awe at the many wonders and signs performed by the apostles. See, all of the believers were together and had everything in common. They sold property and possessions to give to anyone who had need. Every day they continued to meet together in the temple courts. They broke bread in their homes and they ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying all of the favor of all people. And then the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. So it's very clear here that in order to thrive, in order to really be able to please God, we have to be a part and plug into a strong community. And that strong community will help you in 3 ways. And it'll help you personally, but it'll also help the body as a whole. The first is that a strong community will grow you. You see, the first Christians were so deeply devoted to Christ's messages and what he lived his life for, that they paid attention to the apostles because they were directly called by Jesus. They wanted to listen to what the direct followers of Jesus had to say. They were so eager to hear from them, to listen to them, and then to take what they heard and put it into actions. See, they were word-centered and they were strong in their faith. And they were also focused on growing dependent on Christ and dependent on each other. You see, they were unified in their love for one another. Being together with people who are focused on the same goals and being rooted in the same foundation will bring growth, not only to the group as a whole, but to you personally. A strong community will grow you. You see, God created us to thrive in community. He created us to be in right relationship with Him and with others. So when we do community right, we grow spiritually and we grow numerically. Our group, our influence, who we are begins to grow. I think that is such a cool thing, that a strong community will actually grow us. The second thing is that a strong community will support you. You see, the community in Acts chapter 2 almost seems like a utopia of sorts, because they shared everything and they had everything in common within the community that they were a part of. But we also know that they still had material possessions. It wasn't just what some people would look at this and say, oh, well, this is just communism, or this is just this. It's actually a perfect blend of so many of these economic systems, because you had material possessions that they could then sell and then give out of their own generosity. You see, it followed the Old Testament idea of what community equality meant, that no one would be poor within the community. No one would go without needs being met. You see, the selfless generosity that this entire community showed meant that everyone would be remembered, cared for, and loved. They genuinely enjoyed each other's company, and it showed in how they came together for one another. You see, there was this team mentality of when one person wins, we all win. And when one person loses, we all lose. This mentality was adopted and used in the duration of the early church as it was being formed. You see, when we adopt that approach, we come together and we support each other in times of struggle and in times of need. It's very clear in this passage that they were all in this together. There's a video that is playing actually right now, and you can see it. And basically, it's this turtle, and he's on his back, and he can't get up. But you see all of these other turtles begin to come around and lift him and actually flip him over. You see, so many times we find ourselves in positions that we can't get ourselves out of. And we need people around us who can help us, who when we're flipped on our back, can come and support us and carry us and get us back on the right track. A strong community will support you and will help take care of you. The last thing is this, is that a strong community will change you. You see, the Christian presence in the temples showed not only the devotion that they had to their heritage, but to the zeal that they had to witness as well. You see, if the temple was a place of worship and a place of witness, then the home was a place of fellowship. In both contexts, lives would be changed. Make no mistake, the early church was not a club where membership was required to join into the activities of what they were doing. It was a clear move of the Holy Spirit, and there was a call to step into a new life with Jesus. People were coming to know him, they were coming to grow in their faith, and they were being active in bringing about change to the other people who were coming into the community after them. You see, God responded to their faith and he blessed the community. I think that this is such a cool part of this passage of Acts, is that it says that they were added to the number daily. Not weekly, not bi-weekly, not on Sundays or Wednesdays. Could you imagine what that would do if we were able to live such a life together as a community, that every single day people would come to know Jesus because of how we lived our lives? You see, they had favor with God, and they had favor with God and with humanity, and they used it to bring about change in the world. You see, the early church in Acts were all in one accord. This is where it gets so important. They were unified, and they began to share the gospel of the good news of Jesus with everyone they could, being guided by the Holy Spirit every single step of the way. They continued to look for people not only to bring in, not simply to isolate themselves and be their own subgroup. They were constantly looking to bring people in. See, the reason that people say they want a community or a church or a youth ministry like Acts chapter 2 is because that community is one that we can look to emulate, consistently return to, and rediscover if we ever lose our way. We have to have unity of the Spirit, and we have to have unity in the purpose to be able to reach lost people. So let's step into the unity of our community. Let's grab onto the concept that we are better together. And when we do this, we grow personally, we support each other, and we live changed lives so that we can be agents of change for Jesus.
Guys, that is an amazing message. And once again, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you connecting and joining us here on Midweek Online. And as you go about your week, just keep in mind, I like to say, Jesus is like Taco Bell. When you first accept them into your life, it's amazing. It's wonderful. The experience is great. A little bit after, things can get messy. But you got to power through it and go get some more. You know what I mean? We'll see you guys later. Thanks so much.